Hi, I'm George with Suspension101. Today we are building a Travel Gobbler, which we do on several bikes, T7s. But this bike is a 2023 1290 SAR. It's a monster, massive horsepower. This will likely outperform your pro level suspension that you buy from the factory with less travel. Well, first we want to remove the fluid, but before we get into the fork and start working on it, we want to back out the adjusters on top of the fork. This lug, if you get a shot over here, this lug does not have room for a gobbler system. It's just an Allen bolt inside of there. So we have to make the gobblers internal. Don't. That's the mounting point. No adjusters. That holds the cartridge. It holds the whole fork together, but includes the bottom of the cartridge bolted to the bottom of the fork. So when the fork compresses, it'll push the oil out into the fork, and when it rebounds, it'll suck the oil back in through the return. And most forks have that on the side, so quite different design. Okay, here's your cartridges. Cartridges have no bleed holes on either side, return holes only, unlike the current Explore fork that drills holes in the cartridge and omits the possibility of having a rebound in that particular fork. These new parts here, the pistons look to be the same as the AER fork, a taller piston. Taller piston is very efficient because it allows the fluid to flow directly in a more direct manner. The size of these are 34 millimeters, I believe. Yeah, 34 millimeter pistons. That's a larger piston. So you have more flow. This is your base valve. Basic base valve, not any change as far as the function. You have your shim stack here that pressurizes the oil, keeps the oil from flowing, and a return that allows the oil to flow back freely, like any other base valve, most any other base valve. So the design is basically the same, but larger pistons is an advantage. On the mid valves here, this one is your compression side because it has compression shims, and it has nothing on this side. That just flows freely. Compression on this side. We go to the rebound side, no compression, just a pop off, and shims on the rebound side. So basically one of these pistons is for compression, one is only rebound. So they're limiting, in my opinion, half of their valving, of their shims. We're going to remove the damper rod from the stem and replace the damper rod with longer units so that they can attain a little more travel. So as we pull this out, it exposes your dampening needle. When you adjust your adjuster on the top of your fork, it'll push that needle in by tightening it and close this bleed hole, allowing that fluid to bypass the piston in either direction. Here's your needle. This is a metal piston. Sometimes they use plastic. This is a heavier duty piston than many of their motorcycles. This is your top out spring. We measure these springs fully extended and fully compressed. Okay, so these damper rods are going bye-bye because they're going to be the wrong length for the new longer damper rods. These have to be precisely cut. If I'm short 1 millimeter, That's 7.5 turns to your adjuster. So we'll hand make those. We're going to have to machine these caps so that the spring fits on them. We'll be machining these in 2 different areas. These will be machined, your base valves, so we can put in the gobbler base valve and transform it into a gobbler base valve. These are going to be turned into the sprung mid valves. So the norm, the revalve, as they call it, is the norm in the industry. And all they do is they change these shims and change the compression by replacing these shims. They will replace the rebound shims on this piston. That's revalving. They'll replace the compression shims on this piston, and that's a revalve. We're going to redesign this so it has compression and rebound, in addition to a pop-off valve. You hit a sharp edge, it'll blow off and suck it right up. You're going to have more sensitivity in your suspension, more control, because you're going to have compression and rebound in each of these pistons. There's also going to be the pop-off valve in your base valve. So when you hit a sharp edge, additionally, this will pop off. Instead of picking your lines, many times you can just turn the throttle and the gobbler will suck it right up. We're going to machine a majority of the parts in these forks. Okay, we're rating the springs just to assure. Here's the original damper rod off of the bike OEM. This is the new damper rod. Notice it's black, hard anodized. Included on this unit is a shortening spacer because you can have more travel if you want. But a lot of people don't want a bike that's so tall that they can't put their feet down. So what we've done is we've raised this bike 12 millimeters total, front and back. We try to raise it the smallest amount. Travel equals plushness, and travel equals bottoming resistance. You get better suspension when you have more travel. So what we've done is we've raised this bike only 12 millimeters total, front and back, yet you have, let me check my notes, you have 26.5 millimeters of added fork travel. And we have our tricks. So you've got a fork that has just under 250 millimeters of travel. You started with 220. Your rear shock is going to have about 12 millimeters of added travel. And this particular build here now has compression and rebound on each unit, each side of each fork, I should say, with the pop-off. He's going to be able to pick up his pace by 10 to 20 miles an hour and do it with control and plushness. Hitting roots, hitting rocks, it's going to soak it up. It'll gobble it up. This is the travel build that we do that so many people want. This is going to be a happy customer. This is a 2023 1290 SAR KTM, and we just put a travel gobbler on here. Travel, meaning put on heavy miles when you're doing your BDRs. This bike has just under 250 millimeters of fork travel. Although we added that much travel, it started at 220. We only raised this bike 12 millimeters. So he's going to enjoy a much plusher bike. He's not going to have to cringe when he sees a rain rut or a pothole or a big rock that he's about to hit. He will travel right over it with ease. It really does gobble up the bumps. You might check us out on our website, Suspension101.com. Check out the reviews, not only on my site, check out the social media reviews. You're going to find that we hit home runs. This Travel Gobbler, we started with the 990 back in the day. We've raced it professionally. The 790, 890, then the T7. We hit that one. There's a few of them in here right now, actually. Now this 1290 SAR, this is a trophy truck. This is no longer the same bike. Customer's going to be quite happy. A lot of plushness. Yet he can carry the speed safely. Very safely. It's a different bike. Have a great day.